Superman issue 13, legacy number 856. Joshua Williamson writing with Rafa Sandoval on the art. So I'm not upset yet. I'm still having a good time. He's not ruined it yet. Yet. Was the key the key phrase, the key word. Even.
And I don't know, maybe this is the mentality to have at this point, is he hasn't ruined it yet, and if we just keep thinking that it's going to get ruined and it doesn't, and it's just like, base level fine, we'll think that it was better than it was.
Nothing will delight me more than for it not to be ruined at any point.
I mean, and for the sheer amount of Lobo this one has, I'm not a Lobo guy.
No.
Not necessarily as bad as Jason Todd, right? Where, I can be open to liking Lobo. I just feel he's a cliche of characters that I just don't like, but that's the point of him, right? It's a kind of self-aware parody kind of character. But I think
just on that note, I think I would say Jason Todd's better than Lobo if I was forced to pick.
I don't know. I don't know, because I think we've had our eyes open to competent writers handling Jason Todd well.
Well, this is my point, though, is that Lobo is more of a gimmick. He has his catchphrase, he's got his attitude, and that's all he is. That's all they ever do with them, by and large. Jason Todd, while he's mostly annoying, at least he's still a real character in the sense that I'm like, okay, he's got trauma, I understand what makes him tick. You can tell stories with him. I understand it.
The first time I heard Bastich in this, I went, oh no. But again, with Williamson, it turned it around, and it added a little bit of layers to Lobo on here. And I think that he's kind of a perfect foil for Superman, because he kind of is that chaotic kind of character that plays off of Superman very well, right? Because Superman's like the blue Boy Scout and whatever. So of course he wouldn't get along with Lobo. And here I feel like Williamson gives them ties them together with their pasts in a way that should have been obvious before. And maybe just because I avoid Lobo, it was kind of new to me. But yeah, I did not hate him.
Yeah, I don't have anything strong to say about Lobo in this issue. He has that conversation with Superman when they're on the bikes about their mentalities, basically. But so he goes to get Lobo to try and help find the Zarnians, and he's pretty, he's not there to joke around. He just blasts Lobo in the face with heat vision right away, and Lobo even recognizes, okay, something's pissed you off. This is more serious than normal. And he very quickly there's a line that kind of explains, and this isn't a surprise, I guess, but when Superman shows him a photo of like the main Zarnian that was attacking him, it's like, oh hey, I've heard legends of this guy. Rumor has it that he took over a whole city, but then the city disappeared. And I went, oh okay, that answers it then. Brainiac stole the city with all the Zarnians in it. Easy peasy.
And he was the biggest, baddest, scariest guy, and then he was just gone. So it even added to the legend status of General Chakal. So I kind of like that as well, because it plays into the whole, Lobo being the last Zarnian. And, so there were stories of these guys, and they just mysteriously disappeared.
For me, though, the real fun of this issue, because was the Lobo Superman stuff was fine, but for me, where it really kind of came together was the stuff on Brainiac's ship with all of the prisoners, Supergirl, Livewire, Parasite. Supergirl sticking up for them and saying, hey, stop torturing them, stop doing whatever, and Brainiac questioning it, and Supergirl being like, hey, I know you, Brainiac, I've had enough of this shit. When I get out of here, I am going to beat the piss out of you. But Brainiac, something interesting here is that he's like sick, kind of like where he kind of like has this sort of shock, and like green stuff starts pouring out of his nose. And they're all kind of freaked out by it. But interestingly as well is that they're all in bottles, so they're all small. They've all been shrunken down, all the prisoners, right? So it leads to this interesting thing where the cliffhanger at the end of the issue is that Supergirl manages to get herself, and I'm not on the page yet, but was it New Superman?
It's Con.
Is it Con?
It's
okay.
Connor.
It's Connor. Okay. She's got like some tech, and she's like, "Hey, I know a Brainiac from the future, and obviously Brainiac 5, and does some doohicking with the controls or whatever." And she gets them out of the jars, but they're still like the same size. They're still, we're doing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids on Brainiac's ship with Supergirl and Superboy, and that's pretty funny to me.
Yep. I love that, and
especially since Supergirl's so angry, which just makes it all the more funnier.
yeah, well, and I like that Kara, because Kara's she'll always be tied to Brainiac because of Argo City and all of that type of stuff in her origin. So I do like that it's her as the one that's pushing that part of the story forward. But I also like that Williamson's tying back in some of the previous stuff from Superman, where Connor brings up that the Chain had told him about his tactical telekinesis, and how he wasn't using the power to the full potential, So I do like that he's reminding us there that, there's been these little seeds planted throughout. But yeah, I do like the little shrinky dink Kara and Connor dropping down by Brainiac's feet there.
It's a fun cliffhanger, and it kind of like, the first issue, this was fun, and this issue was fun, and I think I have no expectations for this to be a great story in terms of like, oh, this was like a story that's going to define Superman's. It's not War World Saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it can just stick to the things that make it entertaining, and I think them being shrunken but try to survive sneaking around on Brainiac ship, that to me is a fun time. And there's some other interesting stuff here. They tying into like what's going on continuity wise right now. They're like, hey, we have to go find Brainiac's ship, but there's a blockade on Sector 2814. Obviously, that comes out of the Green Lantern stuff. And then two scientists from Supercorp are like, hey, we think we can make you a small enough vehicle that'll get you past that undetected. And it ends up being two space bikes. So Superman's got a nice big red space bike that he's driving. More interestingly, though, is like Brainiac talks about how, knowledge isn't like, he's got a lot of knowledge, right? He's collected a lot of places. Now he's more interested in trying to create something. And we get almost like a Mr. Free's wife kind of thing, where there's like a woman in a tank. Now I don't know if this is just like he's building like a bride or what. Because I think when I first heard him say that he wants to create something, I thought he wanted to create a world. Because that's, he collects cities and stuff. It made sense in my head that he'd want to create a world. But then I see this woman in a tank that he's like talking to as he's like concocting his plans, and I'm like, oh no, is he making a wife? Is that what's happening?
So I don't know if he's making a wife or it's his progeny, right? Because we know that there's other Brainiacs in the future, but they're not necessarily descendants from this one, right? Because I don't know my Brainiac 5 lore a lot, but I don't think he's directly related to this version of Brainiac. I think he's just Kaluan. I could be wrong though. But them bringing back Lena Luthor through all of this and her having the Brainiac stuff, I definitely feel, if that's not her, maybe it's a clone of her. Because, them bringing up that she was prisoner of Brainiac and she had been turned at one point through Our Worlds at War. And the fact that we're getting a Brainiac Queen coming up in Absolute Power. It makes you wonder if that's a thing, is that his progeny, this Brainiac Queen, is going to be a combo of him and Luthor, and that he gets sideways. Because I definitely feel he's dying and he's trying to,
Sure.
But he has all these different versions of himself, right? But those are him. He wants a new version, not just an upgraded, but something that's going to take his mission past where he could. So I definitely like that through line for Brainiac.
Yeah, the Brainiac stuff is interesting to me, especially since it's probably going to tie into the event that's coming over the summer. But yeah, I just can't emphasize enough how fun the ending is, where Silver Banshee's trying to scream out of her cell, but Kara's able to do the doohickeys, and that last full page spread of like her and Connor, but like the giant feet behind them for the Brainiac that's walking around. So yeah, honestly, I mean, it's an entertaining issue. Lobo wasn't too annoying. At the very least, I like the idea that his first instinct as well. I mean, hell, I assume you enjoyed the wrestling call out.
Which, hold on.
To be the main man, you've got to beat the main man. Come on.
I mean, as a guy that I've never been much of a Flair guy. However, so yes, but I wrote this early, so
nor have I, but I
that.
appreciate the reference.
Yeah. No, I get that, because that is a thing that continues in wrestling, right? Like it is but yeah, I read this early in the week, so I definitely forgot the outline. I was more concerned the fact that they're at the Warriors bar in Coast City, which is Guy Gardner's bar. So the fact that that place is still around, and it seems to be the biggest, douchiest place you could ever go, and that's where Lobo is.
The place where Guy Gardner goes? Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah. So, but yes. But yeah, definitely the Brainiac, being sick. I thought that was handled. That adds a bit of a mystery to this because they put him in that vat, and then he comes back out and he's seemingly like he's okay for the time being.
Which so interesting detail there is he seems to be getting into that vat of liquid. That seems to be the same liquid as whoever's in the tank. It's the same color, it's the same design. I think they're clearly telling you that whoever's in that tank is of the same, like being as Brainiac, same species or whatever, or same type of cyborg, whatever you might call it. So, that's I think that's a good bit of visual storytelling with the coloring, if nothing else.
For sure. Yeah. And then again, the art is pretty decent throughout. I do like the layouts here. Like when we get to the Lobo and Superman stuff in space, I feel like when you get a lot of space stuff, there's a lot of empty because they'll try to show the vastness. But here it stays close on them, right? We never lose the fact that, like yes, they're in space, but it's not like they have a mission that everything's very, brought into focus. So I like all of that.
Yeah, I also appreciate them addressing the fact that they can't just leave Sector 2814 just now. It's a nice bit of like overall editorial, just keeping all the books feel like they're part of the same world without it feeling like it's weighing it down to. Because I mean, this solution ends up being really simple and easy. Yeah. But like, it's just nice for them to mention it and address it, and like, no, this is still a thing that's going on in space, and we're not ignoring it. So I appreciate that. So. And
of course it's space bikes, right? Like, because it's Lobo.
Yes.
So that also gets for a fun reveal.
Well, that's the whole point of it, is that Lobo is known for the space bike, so now Superman's got one too.
Yeah.
So there you go. What are you rating Superman?
I'll give this an 8.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking 8 out of 10 as well. So far, pleasantly surprised. I'm still expecting Williamson to ruin it before we're finished, because I've been here before. But this is definitely the most I've enjoyed his Superman, I think. Yeah. In general, I there's been 1 or 2 decent issues, but like I don't think I've enjoyed any 2 of his issues back to back like this.
Yeah, I'm very invested in the overall story here. The story that's being told across action and Superman. So by me, it's just a pacing thing at this point.
I mean, I think it's just that it's better, because like, because if it doesn't matter that it's between the 2. If this was just in Superman or just in action, I think it'd just be fine.